it's Michelle here. I hope you're doing really well today. Welcome to day 4 of our 7 days of intuitive development while I have the doors to Intuition Circle open this week. So, today we're talking about how to trust a message. Sharon, how are you? Thank you for being here. We're talking about how to trust a message today. And I have several things I want to, points I want to make because I'm going through it right now. My life's so up and down right now that I'm not trusting my messages. And instead of me getting on here and kind of faking it, I would rather get on here and tell you what I really do to help myself trust myself. So that's what we're going to do. So I have 2 points I want to bring up, how to trust 3 points actually, how to trust a message. Number 1, I want to talk about the source of messages. Yeah, if you're here, just in the chat, say hi so I can tell who's here. Kelly, welcome. Vicky, welcome. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to trust a message. 3 pieces to this. I'm writing down my notes here. Let's first talk about the source of messages. When we get intuitive information, where does that come from? Where does it come from? I'm going to give you all the places that I have felt it come from or seen it come from. And if you like these ideas, use them. If I say anything and that doesn't feel right to you, then it's not for you. Let's keep it that easy, okay? So here's all the places that I have found the sources of messages. This comes from mediumship. I can feel when people have crossed over and they're giving a message. That's one. So people who've crossed over, animals who've crossed over. I also feel just energy, earth energy, that is a source of messages for me. The collective conscious, all of us together, our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, that's sometimes a source of message, source for me. I have a feeling inside of me about my higher self. It literally feels like I'm sitting on the mountaintop. And to me, that source is, I call my higher self. I also have spirit guides. And they feel, because I'm a clairsentient, I feel things. I feel like this line on this side of my body. And I know that the source of those messages are spirit guides, my spirit guides. In my group Intuition Circle, someone brought up that she's connecting with other people's spirit guides. So that's another source of messages, or source of information. What am I missing? Jesus has come into my visions for people and myself. Jesus has been a source for me. Angels have been a source for me. I'm sure I'm going to forget some here. Myself, it just feels like my own soul is talking to me. Different than my higher self. It feels like my soul. Sometimes, and it feels inside of me like this, not mountaintop. That feels like a soul message. Messages also come from the person I'm giving a reading to. Their soul, their higher self, their guides. You can also pick up on just their human thoughts, feelings, emotions, more conscious information. What am I missing? You guys kind of getting this? Is this helping you at all? I just wanted to first put out there all the different sources that I've experienced with messages. I've gotten star family information. That's been a source of messages. There's I've already said earth energy. That's coming to me again. There's anything else? What am I missing? Okay, number 1, was that helpful? There's so many more that I'm not even aware of or that I forgot right now. But when I was working just as a medium, it was very important for me to understand the source of message. Where is this message coming from? Is it reliable? Is there evidential information coming with this? Can we trust it? And we could trust it if the evidence was accurate. And that's mostly for mediumship. Now more in the psychic world where we're opening ourselves up to get information from different sources. I feel like I'm vibing my home frequency, or I have a high vibe now that I don't worry about negativity or anything like that. And that's the way I teach it too, like in a very loving, grounded way. I don't worry too much about the source of messages anymore. I trust that what I'm getting, because I have the intention for the highest level of healing information for the person I'm helping, that intention is so much stronger than the source. Does that make sense? So I don't really spend too much time anymore on like, where is this coming from? Sometimes I do, but mostly I just let it flow through me and give it to the person. Does that make sense? Say yes or no, or ask your questions in the chat. Okay, so that's the source of message. So let's think about messages and how to trust it. If you only get messages for yourself, which that's perfectly fine, it's hard to validate those, right? Like unless you get something and then you go out into the world and it's validated. Like I've been getting a couple self-validating messages lately in my own life because it is so up and down. I've heard things first thing in the morning like it's going to be a calm day, but then I watch it and then it's a calm day, and that makes me trust that message. once I went through the day, and then I heard the other day, buckle up, and sure enough, it was a rough day. So I believed in those messages in the morning, but I really believed them more once they were validated throughout the day. Does that make sense? So validation is one of the biggest ways I have found to trust my messages. Now, the hard part of that is it's hard to validate information for yourself. I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm out somewhere, usually the grocery store, we all pick up on a lot of not so great stuff because we're sensitive souls, or Walmart or something like that. And you can feel like someone's sadness, or you can feel their anxiety or depression. You start to feel that inside of you, and then you just go about your shopping. Now, if the situation were, if we were allowed to do this and you were allowed to go up to somebody in the grocery store and say, hey, if it's appropriate, I'd like to say I feel some anxiety with you, or I feel some sadness, I feel some depression, you would actually eventually feel better because it went through you and out you. And if the person said that's exactly how I'm feeling, you would have a high level of validation. High levels of validation it help create self-confidence and self-esteem. And I don't want you to think that I'm saying, oh, we're trying to please people in the world, or we need people to give their approval to us. It's not that. It's you need the feedback of what you're getting to see how accurate it is. You need to play around with it. Is that making sense? You guys, oh, good. Okay, awesome. I'm going to read some of these in just a second. Yes. Okay. So with that in mind, if you are really, I know I'm doing this whole week of intuition, doing these things because I want to talk about Intuition Circle. And I care if you join, if it calls to you. I'm excited to work with you, but it's going to feel like I'm plugging it right now, and I don't mean to be. What we do inside of Intuition Circle is we actually create live online events, and we have a Facebook group. I created a atmosphere or a group that we actually practice giving some intuitive things to. We practice playing around with it, and we give each other feedback. Does that make sense? We give each other feedback because it's in that feedback that we begin to trust ourselves. It's the fastest way I know how to help someone trust what they're getting. Not just trust it, but they start to understand it. Like inside of Intuition Circle, as we practice, you can see some of the people are very accurate with like medical information. They pick up on like medical stuff more. Like, I have a chest pain, my stomach hurts, I feel like my kidney, whatever. Like it's just fascinating how they're picking up more on medical issues. And then it's fascinating people starting to understand that pick up on more emotional things. And then there's some people who pick up on more like current events or what's coming next for someone. So that's part of understanding how you're wired. And once you start to know what your natural, like, it's weird, I'm picking up more on emotional stuff or medical stuff or current situations, then you can start to play with that. But the only reason someone even understands that they have that natural ability is because they were playing around with it with somebody. We were giving ourselves the freedom to kind of play around with it. And it's in that play and feedback that that's the fastest way I know how to help people trust themselves. Okay. And then the last thing, I hope that made sense for everybody. And then the last thing I want to say about the trusting a message is this is happening in my life right now. So I'll get information for my own life. If I'm out of balance, if I can feel myself in fear, I honestly don't trust my message. I don't fully trust my message. If I can feel myself that I'm either neutral or even in a feeling of abundance or ease, or I feel like I'm in the flow, I am much more able to trust those messages because I know my vibration is in either neutral or a positive vibration. And I trust those messages more. When I'm in fear, like I am these days right now, I haven't been sleeping. I have a sick child. We've got a lot of things going on. I'm out of balance. And when I get messages from here, I'm very careful to trust them. And I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it works for me that I'm extra careful about the messages I receive for myself. And then I can still work with people usually no matter what because I'm not attached to the stuff. But there is a point of my own imbalance that I won't work anymore. I just need to take a time out from helping people and I need to get myself back to neutral and feeling okay. Does that make sense, you guys? Through some of these. If you have any questions, ask now. So the 3 things I wanted to cover on how to trust a message is I just wanted to share with you the sources of messages. It seems to be really important for people to know the source in the beginning of their development. And it's a good question, like, how did I get that information? Where did that come from? Eventually, once you trust yourself and you'll just kind of you won't worry so much about the source of the message. You'll just let it come through because the intention to help yourself or others is so much stronger. Does that make sense? And then the next thing I wanted to say is, the second part was, working on developing your intuition and trusting it alone is very challenging. That is one of the biggest reasons I have Intuition Circle, because it is the playground or the space where we are loving and grounded and supported and figuring and trusting ourselves and learning these abilities and what do they mean for us and trusting them. It builds our self-confidence. It really is. I'm really proud of it in the fact that it's the jumping off point for people to be really clear about their life purpose and trusting themselves. So there's that. And then also what I said before about, are you in fear? Are you neutral? Are you more on the positive end of the spectrum? And I really look at that every day before I get my messages. Okay. If you has any questions. I love all this information. Excellent, Kimberly. Thank you. Paula's here. Good to see you. Joey says, oh yeah, I've been a member since January. So thankful. I've learned so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for providing this opportunity for people like us. No, people understand or appreciate our gifts. Listening to you has helped me. Good, Charlene. I'm so glad to hear that. It really is, when you get with people who, if you like what I'm saying and you get it and you're like, that makes sense or that feels good, then you have the gifts or you have these abilities. And there's nothing greater in life than to go hang out with people who are like doing the things that you're interested in. I think I'm best with helping people. I've talked about this over and over again. I see people going through these phases. There's the doubt phase, like, what if I don't have abilities? I don't know. This is weird. And I don't know if I should join, all that, the doubt. And then it goes into discovering. If I can get people past the doubt phase and just try Intuition Circle, they start to discover, like, wow, hey, I already knew this. Hey, I think I've been doing this my whole life. What do you call this? Like, they're discovering things. And then the next phase is development, like, I get it. Hey, I'm actually doing this. I like this. And you start to feel some confidence and power. You already had all those things that just open up within you. And then the next stage is belief in yourself. Like, I got it. I trust myself. I trust my messages. And then after that, a lot of people want to go on and help people using their abilities, which is awesome. So I think I'm great with the doubt, discover, and develop phase. Like, Intuition Circle is really for the doubters. Like, I'm scared, but there's something to this. If you can be brave enough to try Intuition Circle, even for a month, just come in for a month and let me work with you. If you join, you have immediate access to dozens of master classes, from spirit guides to psychic intuitive development techniques to mediumship. What else do we have in there? Dream work. I can't think of them all. There's automatic writing. Anyway, there's a lot of them in there. You have immediate access. We have several lives every month on Zoom with each other where we actually practice. We've got a reading room where you can get together with other people in the group and practice. What else? We've got other things that I can't think of right now. But just try it for a month if this calls to you. If you don't like it after a month, I'm happy to refund your $47. Angela, good to see you. Okay, Amy said, I joined Intuition Circle 2 days ago and I love it, full of information in the series about dreams with Penny. Really helpful stuff. Aw, I'm so glad, Amy. And I'm so glad you said it here, because we've had a few new members come in this week. And I want to know exactly where you are and if you need help with anything. So I love to hear that, Amy, because then I know what you're up to. And I don't know, it just helps me stay connected to you. Angela says, I love being validated. Yeah, it's like, when you're working with someone and it's your natural ability to pick up on these subtle energies. It's your natural ability as an empath sensitive. And when you actually use that gift and it helps somebody, it's the feeling of fulfillment. And like, I get juiced. I get high. I'm not going to lie. It feels a little like I'm high. And it's freaking fun. And for us, like, we are calm people, right? Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go out much. This is where I get juiced and do fun things. Okay. Okay, let's see. I think that's it. I don't see any more questions. Okay, I do see a few more. Jordana says, what masterclass do you recommend going to first? So I want you to start with the foundations, and I know you're in there already, so go to the foundations. If you've already completed foundations, I want you to go to the head, heart, and gut technique. I think that's the next best place for people who are just starting inside Intuition Circle to go. And then ask me in our Intuition Circle Facebook group, if you get stuck at all, just say, I did this one and this one, Michelle, what should I do next? And I'll feel into that and help you with that. Sherry says, being medically intuitive helped me so much last year when my fiance fell ill with a brain infection after brain tumor was removed. Saved my sanity. That's amazing, Sherry. That's amazing. Okay. Oh, one more. Amy says, I have absolutely no doubt that I have been validated a lot lately, but have had abilities my entire life, and I want to develop more so I can help as many people as I can. Yes, you've spoken like a true empath, Amy. You guys, we are kind of people, we have such a capacity to help in the world, but if our self-esteem's low, or we doubt ourselves, or we're unclear about how we can help people, all of that kind of stands in the way or blocks us from our full power and our full abilities to help others. Does that make sense? So I really think at the clearest level of Intuition Circle, it's helping people see their awesomeness. And once people see their awesomeness, and we just happen to use the psychic and intuitive doorway for people to see their awesomeness, because those are our gifts. Once people see their awesomeness and step into their own awesomeness and embrace it and believe in it, then what you're supposed to do with it becomes very clear. And you have the esteem and the confidence to step in that direction. Does that make sense? I know these things I'm saying are a little esoteric or hard to grasp, but I hope I'm doing it in a way that helps a little bit. And I heard, yes, thank you. Okay, awesome. I hope this was helpful today. So if you're interested in Intuition Circle, please, I don't think I put the link in the description. I will. Olivia, my daughter who helps me in Intuition Circle, has put the link in the thread here, so you can grab it. And then I'll be back on tomorrow. If you decide to join Intuition Circle, I'll see you in the Facebook group today, because I'm in there every day just saying hello and answering questions. And I hope you have a really good day. Okay, bye.